right, we are good to go. Okay, hello everyone. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay,
Yes.
okay, all right, cool. All right, so how are we doing today? Um, we are gonna be doing some work today. So I managed to we should be able to get back some time on working on the assignment 4, right? So if I scroll down here, right? Let's see here. Here we go. I'm gonna maximize this. All right, so I know maybe not all of us are at this stage. Maybe some of us are still wrapping up assignment 3. Which, by the way, I believe that date has passed, right? Today is what, the 16th? So, but anyway, what we're doing now is we're moving ahead with assignment 4, right? And if you remember, I think, when was this? The week when you came back or before you went on study tour? I kind of went through a little bit of stuff in Twinmotion. Anybody here remembers that? Anybody?
Kinda.
Kind of. Hold on, did I put that video up? Maybe I didn't put that video up enough. Let me see if I did. Head over to recordings and let's see, advanced computing 2, 21, 22. No, I think this was the last one. So I think it's the one after this. Okay, so I haven't put that up yet. But anyway, so the idea of this assignment, remember, you're just basically going to recreate what you did for assignment 3, right? But now you're going to do it in a virtual space using one of these models, right? So the last time I kind of demonstrated using what was I using again? I was using Twinmotion and kind of gave an idea of what you're expected to do, right? I think that video is supposed to be rendered already. Hopefully it rendered the same day. So I will upload it so that you can have that. Is there anybody here that's using Lumion instead of Twinmotion for their assignment 4?
Me, sir.
Okay, right. All right. Anybody else from this group? So Shania, all right, cool. Oh, hold on. I'm not seeing all the names. My bad. So I don't know if you might be raising your thumb. Anybody else? So only 2 people?
Sir?
Mm-hmm.
Sir, this is Wellington.
Yeah.
Sir, I'll probably be using Lumion, but I'm just telling you that I haven't been to class in a while because I just came back from study for that is 3rd year studio.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. I sent you an email, but
Right. I remember. All right. So I wanted to kind of just quickly run through. I know when I did the Lumion run through, not everyone here used Lumion, so I'm hoping that was a helpful thing, right? Sorry, Twinmotion, I mean. So I'm hoping that was a helpful thing. So I think what I want to do is to just quickly kind of run through the kind of steps that you would do in Lumion. Unless everyone here is pretty confident with that already. For the persons who said they're using Lumion, you know, are you kind of confident with how you're going to get this process done? Like, have you used Lumion before?
Sir, I will still appreciate you running through, just like the twin motion.
Okay, cool. What about everybody else? So I'm assuming everybody else is using twin motion.
Yes, sir, for the most part.
Okay, cool. So those are pretty much the two top ones, as I figured. All right. Okay. Now,
I think some persons in there use Enscape, but I'm not sure.
oh, Enscape. Okay.
Yeah, some persons use it, but the majority would use Twinmotion.
All right. Enscape. Yes, you can use Enscape. Manipulating the camera in Enscape is actually annoying. Oh boy, it's kind of annoying. So I don't know if we'll manage to reach to that, because I am also concerned about the footage. Now, remember, after we render these cinematic camera movements, we need to put them in, well, I used DaVinci the last time. I guess some of us may use Premiere Pro. Of course, DaVinci is free, so that's why I've used DaVinci and like Twinmotion, because those are all free. I know some of you have Lumion, so that's cool, and some of you have Premiere Pro, so that's also cool. But essentially, when you render these little clips, you need to carry them over and put them together with the lower thirds and all of that. So maybe we can touch a little of that part today as well. Okay, now, well, first I must admit that I'm not a Lumion expert necessarily, nor Twinmotion, but I should be able to manipulate myself enough to tell you what, or to demonstrate what you need to do, right? So what I'm suggesting here, I'm on a low battery. What I'm suggesting here is that everyone should fire up whatever program they're using, so that we can push forward with this assignment, right? Remember my theory from second year, right? If you do the work in the class, then that's less work for you to carry home, right? So the fact that we're actually dedicating a class to work on this thing, the best thing you can do is actually work on this thing while it is being done. You know what I mean? So, you know, leave it for when you home. All right. Now, we have a couple models here, right? And the last time I picked building 7, and I had chosen one of the sites. Now, if you go on the class website, right, scroll all the way down to the assignment 4. That's this one. Let's zoom in a bit here. All right. So right below the assignment box, right, you will see some assets, right? And these assets are meant to help you with completing this particular assignment. So some of these are presentations. So we talked a little bit about the production pipeline, which that clip is there. But then these are models that that exist for the model that you're going to choose, right? And there is FBX, SketchUp, and, well, Max. I figure most people are going to be using the SketchUp and maybe the FBX, but, you know, I just put the Max there just in case you guys want that. Now, there are 2 sites to choose from, and you can't really see the name of them here because it's so, because of how it's displayed. But one of them is a residential park area, and that's the one that we had chosen the last time, and we had done that in Twinmotion, you know, put some trees and stuff like that. This time around, I want to take a look on the other one, which is option 2. Option 2 is, I believe that's a European city center, right? So remember, these files that I'm talking about are the environments in which you're going to place your building, right? Remember, this assignment is not about modeling or rendering necessarily. It's primarily about the cinematic camera angles, right? So all you need to do is to choose a site, choose your building, drop your building on your site, and get that part done with quickly. Because the more important part now is choosing those cinematic camera angles, all right? Okay, so now to access this, you can just go to the class website and, for example, you can just grab the FBX. There is a max file version as well and a FBX version of the environment. So in this case, this is option 2 here, which is the European City Center. So I'm just going to grab that FBX. I'm going to download that. All right, cool. In the meantime, let me fire up Lumion. I'm using Lumion 11. It's on the other screen. It will soon pop up on this screen. All right. Okay. So let's make a folder here so that we can actually see where this thing is going to be located. So I'm going to just create a folder on my desktop. So here we go. So I'm just going to create a folder and call this assignment for demo. Go. And we will just drop that downloaded file there. All right. So this is the FBX file. Next, you need to choose your building. So we can actually choose, let's see. What building shall we choose? Any suggestions? Hello, anybody there?
So I can choose building 16.
Building 16? Okay. All right. Okay. Building 16. Let's see what that one has to offer. So right here. All right. Oh, this one here. Okay. By the way, building 4 isn't really compatible with the European city center. So you need a slope. So if you have building 4, you definitely would be recommended that you pick the park because there's a slope area in the park. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see if let's see about building 16. Okay. So what you need to do is go back to the site, and here we go. Then you need to look for building 16, building 4, building 7. Building 16. Now here's the thing. You can download building 16 SketchUp file because, well, put it this way. You might need to modify the SketchUp file, the model. If you download the FBX, directly into Lumion. Remember, Lumion is not a modeling program, right? So there is no way to manipulate the objects when you place it in Lumion. So you need a program that can be able to manipulate the polygons. Or let's say that there was a material that you needed to add, but you know, it wasn't defined in the FBX model. So you need a program to manipulate the model. I figure for you guys, it will be SketchUp. So I suggest using the SketchUp files. So let's open that up. SketchUp. Okay, there we go.
So anyone could choose any building?
Well, I'm gonna say that's okay. You can choose any. I'm just gonna open it up. Ideally though, I set it that you work with the one that you had used for your assignment. But I'm gonna open it up because you might, you know, if you might love the city center for a particular cinematic view and you might have building 4 and it would be unfair because building 4 actually if you want you can even modify the building slightly. Like if you really want to put building 4 in the city center, then you probably have to remove that lower floor or something. Even building 16 is kind of on a slope plan, but not really. Like you can see that it's you know, it can still work on a flat area. I hope it will fit though. But this is not, oh, there's also an underground part right here. This is not primarily, this is not about how the design fits on the site. But you're basically looking for opportunities to do those cinematic camera views in the virtual space. All right. Yeah, but the building has to be logically on the site. I mean, it can't, you know, be weird like floating in the air or something, or sitting in the middle of a road. All right. Now, for those of you who, well, most of us probably familiar with SketchUp. If you're using SketchUp and Lumion, then there is a feature that allows you to have a direct link with Lumion, right? And to get that feature, you need to go over to extensions, and in your extensions, you need to look for the, you go to the extension warehouse. And when you do that, a window will pop up and then you will just look for Lumion. And it's a free extension, so it doesn't really matter, but you need to have the desktop version of SketchUp to use the extension. So meaning if you're using the online web version, of course, this isn't going to work. And that's the extension there. You click it, download it, and then you'll get this toolbar up here. I have docked my toolbar up top, and this toolbar allows you to be synced with Lumion. That's pretty much the easy way. The more manual way, which I'm going to do, I'll do it the manual way since that's like the hardest way, is you basically need to just save this file. So I'm going to save this SketchUp file. Now here's an important point. I'm using SketchUp 2021, but Lumion 11 isn't compatible with SketchUp 2021. So when you're saving your file from SketchUp, if you choose to use SketchUp, I'm going to save it to my working folder here. I want you guys to save it down to an earlier version, right? Does my screen look too blurry for anybody? Is it unbearably blurry? Guys?
Sir, I can recognize the words, but it's
Okay.
kind of small, but I can't.
It's not. Not the cleanest, but who can identify what is what. It's
I
readable.
get you. All right. So what I'm gonna try, because this resolution is a little high, so I'm going to change this. Usually we're doing presentations, but once you got into these programs here, things tend to get a little tiny. So make this a little smaller, maybe, you know, maybe something like that. Let's see if this will work. Settings. Let's go down even smaller, maybe about that. Oh, wow. Oh, wait a minute. Revert. Changing the wrong screen here. Let's go back up. Changing that screen. All right. Right. Try out one of these. Oops. Oh, I guess because I was share screening, this thing kind of boxed me out. Come on. Come on. Yeah, fine. I know you crash. Okay. Let's go back here. By the way, for those of you who have an iPad, I'm actually using the iPad as a second screen. So that's a little interesting. All right, this seems a bit bigger. So let's see if all the buttons can fit on this screen. You should be able to see all of this stuff. Okay. All right. All right. How does this one look now? You can make out the buttons better?
Not sharing screen, sir.
Oh, my bad. Am I sharing the right screen? Nope. All right. All right. You can make out the buttons a little better now. Hopefully.
Sir.
All right, great. We're actually using this model, so we're not going to use that one. We're going to use this one here. All right. All right, lovely stuff. Okay, so Lumion has fired up. That's Lumion there. For those of you who are a bit maybe on the fence, maybe you have both Twinmotion and Lumion and you're trying to decide which one you should use. I mean, both of them are pretty great. If you choose to use Lumion, do a little benchmark. And that's what you're seeing here to tell you how good your system is at Lumion. I think my benchmark is a little bit cheated, you know, because at 50, I don't think this computer is a 54, but you know, who knows. All right, so when you fire up Lumion, first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to create a new project and you're going to choose an environment. In this case, oh, look at that. Lumion actually has an environment that you could pick, which could probably well fit your building. However, we do have to choose one of the environments that we're given, right? So you guys can either go for the plain environment, or you can go for the really plain environment, which is primarily just to kind of showcase a building model or something. So I'm going to go for the plain environment here, and that should open up just fine. All right, so I mean, there are a million Lumion tutorials out there, so I'm not going to spend too much time like telling you about the user interface. Besides, some of you are already familiar with it. But just to kind of go to kind of just touch the basics. For the most part, the main icons that you need to operate with, this one, right? So these are the main icons here that switch you between the main categories in Lumion. And the first category is pretty much the build category, materials, landscaping, and lighting, right? And when you pick one of these main categories, all of the subcategories, which is this box right here, all of those categories will adjust depending on which main categories you pick, right? So you can kind of think of, which one is it? Is this one, right? You can kind of think of Lumion in having two zones. You know, you have all your icons on the left, which deals with the main categories, and then you have all the production icons on the right, which deal with when you're ready to render and produce. All right, so right away, we need to import our model. So that's going to be done on the left, on the left side. So upright. So what we're going to do is on the content menu, which is this first icon here, we're going to go to import. Now, I'm going to be using these layer icons that are located up top, right? And I don't remember which version layers came into in Lumion. But they can be kind of helpful, especially when you're importing multiple objects, right? So we can import, for example, the site on layer 1, and then we could import the building on layer 2. And the idea behind this is that you can use it to help balance the amount of resources. In a case where you're dealing with a really large model, you know, and you're trying to manipulate the model and it's too heavy on your computer, you can put different parts of the model on different layers. So, so that's something there to remember. All right, and if you remember from our Twinmotion demo, Twinmotion also has something like layers, but basically you can turn off all the individual objects in Twinmotion. Okay, so we're going to go to the import, which is located here. When we click that, it's going to bring up our little dialog box, and we're going to go to the folder that we were working from. So that is the assignment for demo. And here is our site, right? So we're going to double click that, and that will start to import our site. Okay, now, all right, this is telling me because I actually have a file that's called this. I have a file within this Lumion program with that name already. When you import content into Lumion, you can actually share it across projects. So that is pretty cool. So I've already done like a test project from this a couple of weeks back where I tested the model to make sure that it's okay. So Lumion is telling me that, hey, I already have a FBX file that has this name in my Lumion installation. So I need to basically rename it. So I'm gonna call it 2. I can put it in a category, you know, just trying to keep things organized. So we could call this site model. When you're dealing with really large buildings where you're importing multiple assets, maybe there are maybe you're doing a multi-unit development and there are like 10 unit types. So you probably want to import all of them and keep those organized. Running low on battery. Anyway, so now another important point, Lumion can import FBX animations, right? This was useful. For example, I remember one year when the students were doing the final project assignment and they had to import, they created an animation in another program. And it was a good thing that Lumion is able to import animations. Now, this is one point that goes towards Lumion, because at this point, Twinmotion still doesn't import animations from external programs. So, you know, if you animate something in 3ds Max or Maya or some other program.
I think it can do it with SketchUp, you know, sir. I've done it before.
In Twinmotion?
Yeah. I think I did it.
You animate something in another program and it will come in?
Animate as in movement?
Right.
Ooh, no.
Right.
Not that. Yet.
Exactly. So, you know, these two programs trade blows, you know, so on one hand, Lumion has the ability to import animations. And it has the ability to import line work as well. But Twinmotion has the ability to create animation. Well, both of them can, but Twinmotion has a little bit more flexibility to create animation within the program itself. You know, but you know, as I said, the trade blows. So I remember one year they needed to do I think it was the group that was doing the building crumbling. And of course, they could crumble it in another program that was able to make the building crumble. And then they imported that FBX file and the animations came into Twinmotion. Sorry, into Lumion. And they were able to like produce the video in Lumion. So that's great. We'll talk more about the comparisons as we continue. At the end of the day, Twinmotion still has one big edge over Lumion, and I'll tell you about that a little later. Anyway, so we're gonna choose OK there to import our site model. Now it might take a little bit longer for you guys when you guys do yours. All right, so the next thing we want to do, let's open up SketchUp in the meantime. Come on. All right. And what we want to do in SketchUp is we need to save this as a earlier version of SketchUp. So remember, if you're using like Lumion 9 or 10, well, to be safe, I just normally export all SketchUp files as SketchUp 7 because pretty much any program out there was made after 7. So I'm going to go to my desktop and let's go to that working folder and building 16 model as a SketchUp 7 version and save. All right, good. All right, so let's see if that, oh, that's still opening there. All right, now I am doing this the long way, right? But if you guys have the link, the sync extension installed in your SketchUp, which looks like this icon here, you can also use this to synchronize your model. And this is perhaps the easiest way to do it. Right. Okay, let's see. All right, good. So this is that scene there, and it's asking me to position it. You know, I really wish I could type in coordinates, but I'm not even going to go into that. And sometimes I have a beef to pick with Lumion sometimes, you know. But anyway, let's not be biased here. Okay, so the scene is in. This is what that city scene looks like. I'm moving around using the ASWD key, right? For those of you who play first-person shooters, you should be used to that. Now, one thing I must say in terms of using Lumion is their help. I think it's pretty great because it provides real-time help feedback. So for example, when I press a key, like when I right click and move the mouse around, that allows me to look around. But if you look here on the right of your screen, that's on this side here, I think Lumion does a better job at telling me what shortcut keys goes along with this key that I'm currently pressing. So when I hold right click on the mouse, it's telling me that, okay, if I use ASWD, I can move around. You know, so even if you're new to the program, so for example, a person like me who doesn't really come into Lumion a lot, and I can't remember, you know, what the buttons do, it's a nice real-time way to tell you, and you don't have to like go into like a help menu or something to do that. So there you go again, 1 point for Lumion for that, for being so helpful. All right, so get that out of the way. All right, now if you look here, you will see the imported model library, and what you will see is that I created a category called site model, and in site model, I have my building here. Now, if I look on the main, these are other buildings that I have done in other projects, and they're located within the project there. So that's pretty cool because if I open a new Lumion file, I can always grab a building from a different project. All right, so once my building is positioned, the first thing is that it's a little bit low. So you can see the grass kind of peeking through. Kind of zoom out a little. You can see the grass is kind of peeking through. So what I need to do is move this model down on the Z-axis. In this case, it's the Y-axis because of how it's imported. You know, anyway, another beef that I pick with Lumion. But anyway,
So was
say again?
everything when you started the model, was everything in one monochrome like material?
Like one object?
No, because when I put it on the site, it just has one like monochrome texture. Like how you have all the different
and this is when you grab from the FBX?
yeah, that you had on the site.
Okay. You know what I think? I think because it was on my, okay, guess what? I have given you the textures. So it's a good thing that you brought that up. For those of you that are getting like the blank textures, this is what you perhaps need to do, right? If you go into your, if you go back on the class website, that's here. There you go. Zoom out. Okay, now if you look, there is a max file version here of each of these files. So here's the one for version 2, version 1. So what you need to do is download it. Now what happens is that the max the max version has all of the textures there. So this is going to be a little bit bigger. You can see that this is 100 and getting some feedback here. Right. You can see that this is 115 megabytes. So this is going to be a little bigger. So I'm going to download that. Okay, when I download it, I'm going to place it in my working folder. So here is my working folder here. No, not that folder. It's actually on my desktop. There we go. Right, so I'm going to place this file here. And then what you do, as long as you have WinZip or WinRAR, whichever archive program you have that can extract this, I'm going to extract this to a folder. Now, when I look at that extracted folder, there's a folder called maps. And these are actually all the textures that I need. Now, here's the thing. It's going to be hard for me to simulate what will happen on your computer. But what I can suggest is this maps folder here, I would place the FBX in this folder. So let me just do that again. So let me go back to the main folder here. So here's that FBX here. I would just copy that FBX and place it in this maps folder here. And then try to import it from this maps folder and see, because all of these maps are what is needed to support this file. So I'm assuming when you try to open the FBX file on your computer, it's looking for all of the textures and it can't find it. So now that it's in the same folder, it should find it. So can you try that for me, Ricardo? Or anybody else that's working on this, just to make sure that this works?
Trying it now.
Okay, cool. So these are little challenges that you might experience. So I'm glad that you guys are actually doing it while we're doing the tutorial here. I don't know if you notice, every time you watch a tutorial on YouTube or, I don't know, Linda or LinkedIn or wherever you get your tutorials from, everything on the tutorial always go 100% fine, no problem. But when you try to do it, there's a lot of variables. So that's why I always suggest that you work on this while it is being done. All right, so now I'll move on while you test that. Now, the next thing you want to do, adjust the height of the model here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I am actually I am in the content mode here. So make sure that you're there. And then you're going to choose the select or button here. And then when you have the select button highlighted, notice how it will hover over the site. And to make things a little more precise, I will use this up down to adjust the vertical height of my model using that there. All right, so I'm going to pick that. And if I hover over my model, over the center point of a model, I can click, hold, and drag and just set the height of this model. So I'm going to carry it up just a little higher than the base. All right, lovely. So that's our model there. Now I'm moving around with ASWD. This model is a little big, so to move around quickly, just hold shift and it will kind of run. Imagine you're playing Call of Duty and you're trying to escape from, you know, bullets flying or whatever, and you have to hold shift to run. So think of that. All right, E and Q are to go vertically up and vertically down. And then kind of minimize, oops. All right, lovely. All right, let me take this off here. There we go. Here. All right. Now, what else have we got now? Uh-oh. Oh no, my screen died. I guess. Anyway, let's continue on this screen. All right. Share. That's a bit weird. It was plugged in, but it was still dying. Anyway, you guys can see my screen again?
Today, there are 5 events remaining. Here are the posters.
You guys with me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hold on. It says screen share is paused. I wonder why. Share again. Oh. Resume. Okay. Share again. Oh. So I can't share. Let me try share. Okay, good. All right, you're seeing it now, right? It's probably gonna look a little choppy though, but you know. Okay, so now that we have the model at the right height, next thing we need to do is to repeat the same process to import our building. So that's what we're gonna do. Oh. So I found the problem. The charger was plugged out. Okay. So we're gonna go back to the import, and this time we're gonna look for that SketchUp file that we saved. Now, in my case, this are you seeing this window that is that has my browse window here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now notice that you see you see the file format here as FBX, so we need to change that over to SketchUp. And notice the other file types that we can import. Oh, guess what? I did not know that the new Lumion allows you to carry in a max file directly. That's interesting. That is interesting.
To you, sir, or to us?
Well, to me, because you know I'm a max user already,
Oh.
so yeah. All right, one more point for Lumion for importing max files directly. But anyway, where are you working with SketchUp? So we're going to choose SketchUp, and there is our building model there. And we're going to put this in a new category called building model. And yeah, that's fine. So we're going to choose OK to import that again. All right. Okay. And this shouldn't take that long to upload because the building is fairly small. Now, this might be a little weird now. I have to now share between multiple screens. So let me switch over to where is SketchUp? SketchUp now. All right. Now, when you're in SketchUp, what you're going to realize is that you're probably going to need to make some modifications to this building, right? So for example, I'm not sure if this overhang here will work. Maybe our balcony element will work. We might have to delete that. Definitely the base. We don't need all of this base here, right? So we're gonna have to delete that again. Anyway, let's head on over back to here. All right, so here is our building model. And we're just going to drop it. Let's just drop it somewhere in the center there like that. All right, now that the building model is here, so clearly you can see that, all right, there's a couple of elements that we don't need from the model. Now this is where one point goes to Twinmotion, because at least with Twinmotion, I'm able to not necessarily edit the model, but I'm able to, for example, I could go in and delete this this base here, or I could let's say kind of go around here a little bit. You know, I could start to move the bottom of this building or delete some of the furniture inside. You know, I can manipulate to a tiny extent the building model. But in Lumion, everything is basically it's basically a replica of what you import, and if you want to manipulate it, you have to change it from your editing program. All right, so that's no issue with that. So all we need to do is to head on over back to SketchUp. And then in SketchUp now, we're just going to delete these elements here. Let's delete this front element here. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Not sure this front element will work. You know what? I'm going to keep it. Let's see if it will work with the building model. It's okay for you guys to delete whatever you believe is not needed, like this little base element here, that can also go. And everything else I will make remain. This part here is a little funny, so I'm going to just copy. Let's copy it from this side here. Oops. That there. You know, just so that there is, because I'm probably going to raise it off the ground and I don't want to be looking underneath the building, and probably my shots are going to be like towards this part of the building. All right. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to save this again. Now remember, I need to do a save as, because I need to remember to always save it down to version 7. Chances are the Lumion that you're using maybe is a lower version than the SketchUp that you're using. All right. All right, so let's go back over to Lumion now. And all I need to do with Lumion is to just hit this refresh button right here. That should update the model just fine. Now, this is the manual way of updating. Of course, if you use the sync, then the building will be directly linked over to Lumion. And when you make a change in SketchUp, it will just update in Lumion at the same time. And you don't have to wait for this update every single time. All right, there we go. So the building is now updated. All right, now I'm gonna actually move back over to my screen here, because now it's plugged in properly. So let me try and do that. Come on. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. We're back in business. I hope. Ricardo, did that trick work with putting the?
When I put it over into that folder, every time I try to upload the file, Lumion is shutting off.
When you try to import that, it's what FBX you're using? Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm using,
FBX on the side. When you try to import it, Lumion shuts down.
Yeah.
All right. Let's try something else, right? Now that we discovered that Lumion will take max files directly. Try doing the same thing with the max file. See how that works out. Right? So to demonstrate, so what you're going to do is this file here that says max at the end, you're going to just put it in the same maps folder here and then try and import that max file. Is there anybody else getting any other trouble with trying to carry in this environment? Nope. Nope. All right, cool. Now, once this is in, we're gonna just try and orient this to something that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna take another point off of Lumion again. You know why? Because Lumion doesn't support the 3D mouse. Any of you know I've ever heard of a 3D mouse? Guys?
No, sir.
No? Okay, so a 3D mouse. There we go. Kind of looks like this. There we go. Well, you have different versions. This is like the, you know, the enterprise version. And you know, these would be like the versions that you might see, you maybe see at an architectural office. And basically you just move this knob around and it manipulates this. It's quite addictive. So when you know, once you start using it and you get the hang of it, you know, going back to orbiting seems, I don't know, very weird. So apparently Lumion 11 thus far doesn't have support for it. So we'll see how that develops. It's not really that popular, so I won't take off a full mark for it. I'll take off a half mark because not everybody uses a 3D mouse, all right? All right, so we're just gonna orient this building to something that makes a little sense. So you're free to orient it however you wish, but in my case, I'm going to go to my rotate button here. So this is under context and rotate, and I'm rotating the site. Rotate the building. Come on. And I think I'm gonna put it like about that. There we go. And let's go to the move. And I'm gonna move it to about there. Go down on the ground a little bit, and let's put it up on the z-axis a little bit, even though it's not really z, but oops. And moving the site again, make sure I click on the building, and stop doing that. It's this one. There we go. All right, there we go. It's not too shabby. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I should have rotated it this way. I don't know. You guys can pick how you want to orient the building. Yeah, I'm gonna try both. Say again?
I tried both. It's not working.
So when you carry in the max file, it's not coming into your Twinmotion.
I'm seeing an error pop up.
Okay, I got one more. Oh, you know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering about the version of FBX. I need somebody else to test it so that I can verify if it's something with your installation or is something with the file. So is there anyone else here that currently has the project open and working on it? Anybody else? Anybody else can test that FBX file for me? No volunteers?
No, no, sir. Still planning to continue with Twinmotion.
Oh boy. All right. Looks like most people going on the Twinmotion train. All right, here's what I will do, right? Ricardo, I am going to save an earlier version of the FBX file. All right?
Okay.
So that you can try it again, right? I'm not sure why. So I'm going to quickly do that here. You don't have to, this is not something for you to follow along in, but I just might as well use the opportunity to show you guys what I'm doing here. And you're trying to open the city file, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna open this in Max. And then I'm gonna export it again. All right, so this is the file in Max here. That's the city. And I'm gonna export it again. What kind of error you got? What did it say in the error dialog box?
I didn't get to check it. Actually, I just deleted it and I'm trying to install it again from the class site.
Okay. Install. You trying to
I
install?
just delete all the files and I'm
Oh,
just.
okay. All right, no problem. So I'm going to call this European City Environment, and I'm going to call this version 2, V2. All right. So here we go. So these are the export options. What did I export it as again? Was it centimeters? I think it was centimeters. All right. And where is the version of FBX format? All right. So I'm going to try. You would have gotten the 2015. What version of Twinmotion of Lumion are you using?
11.
I don't know. Well, we are both using the same versions. So I'm not sure. But anyway, let me just export it again. So let me try saving a 2018 FBX file format. There we go. And what I'm going to do is that file, I'm going to put it in the on the class site. So when you go to the class site, you're going to see 2 FBX files. So you maybe need to hover over it to see the name of the other one, right? So try the other one and see if it works, all right? It's in the folder now. All right, so in the meantime, let's go back over to Lumion. All right, so after you have the building position, then the next thing we're going to do now is just get right into doing our cinematic camera angles. Now, if you want, you can maybe swap up your materials a little bit, but you don't need to really get hung up on the materials unless your building has no materials whatsoever. Remember, this is primarily about the camera angles. So Ricardo, even if it turns out that you just, for whatever reason, you just can't get your environment to have the right materials, I mean, this assignment is mainly about the cinematic camera angles. All right. Now, for those of you that want to kind of edit your materials a bit, then what you can do is go over to the materials tab, click on the site. Now the site already has pre-assigned materials, so Probably the most thing you want to change is maybe the grass to maybe a nicer looking grass for the purpose of, you know, what you're doing. So what you can do is just click on the grass. Carry this down a little bit. Oh Lord. Okay. My screen is a bit too small, so you can't even see the top of this menu here. But anyway, so let's go over to various and let's try 3D
The
grass.
material library that it says.
Right, this is the material library.
Okay.
And I'm gonna click on the material here, go to 3D grass. And I'm gonna try one of these clean cut grass. There we go. And I'm gonna click yes on the right hand side. I find that sometimes I forget to click yes in Lumion because if I'm using a wide screen, this tick is all the way on the right. You know, so sometimes I forget to click it. And there we go. There's some nice looking grass here. All right. So maybe that's perhaps something that you want to change just for the purpose of making the shots look a little nice. Usually we use foliage to set the to set up a composition. In last time we used Twinmotion, we had gotten some trees and, you know, and place some people and all that stuff so that we can set up the scene. So we're pretty much just doing the same thing here. All right, so let's go over to, we can go over to weather and we can change our sun angle a little bit so that it's a bit more interesting. Now, just like Twinmotion, where we chose the change the sky, in Lumion, there's a real skies option that's here now that will allow the atmospheric effects of the sky to affect the building in a more realistic way. So you can do that by clicking this little icon here to change to real skies. And then you choose one of these skies. Now these are HDRI domes. Essentially, it's a photograph. It's a spherical photograph of a pre-existing environment, right? The advantage with this is that it will allow your scene to look a bit more realistic. And the disadvantage is that you're not able to change the sun height. You can change the sun approach angle, but just not the height. And the reason you can't really do that is because it's an image with the sun at a preordained height already. So you can't change an image, but you can rotate the image. And that's why the preview is rotating like this. All right, so let's choose one of these clouds. And there we go. Hold on, did we turn it on? Did we pick one? We did pick one, right. Hold on, no, let's go back here. Oops. Oh, we need to switch it on here. Let me show you that. So when you choose your particular sky, don't forget to turn it on. Now, how you can know that it's on is that once you turn it on, you're unable to adjust the angle, because remember that this you're basically applying a photograph to your background, and the photograph already has the angle of the sun embedded in the photograph, right? So, all right, so we're gonna turn that on, and you might notice your scene change a little bit. It is supposed to be better, right? Because the tones that are shown on these surfaces are based on the tones that are in the sky. So it's a bit more accurate. Okay, so we can't, so notice that this is grayed out, but we can still rotate the sun. We just can't change the height. So, you know, maybe something like that. Or maybe something. Maybe something like that. All right. So now it's about determining our angles. Now remember, the technique that I showed you guys from the last time is remember all of those cinematic techniques, rule of thirds, and then there's the leading lines, there is patterns and repetition. You know, there is have a foreground and a background to allow your image to have more depth. So for example, rather than taking a shot of the building like this, take a shot, rather than taking a shot like that, take a shot like that, because you have an element here in the foreground, which helps to give your scene depth. So your building is in the midground and then you have more things in the background. So like this kind of composition already begins to look a bit more nicer. All right. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
yeah. Question. Oh, it worked? No, it worked with the version 2.
I don't know. I just deleted. I did use the version 2, but I just deleted and uninstalled it. But it had to go in the maps folder.
Oh, okay. And it came in with the materials?
Yeah. The version 2 it did not have the materials. If I just installed it just like that, but once I put it into the map folder, it came up.
It came in with the materials. Yes, I figured that was the thing. All right. Now, so when you're setting up your cinematic camera angles, I'm going to advise you to use the same approach as we did with Twinmotion. Set up your photos first, right? And then create moving photos, right? So for example, find images of your building that would be framed nicely. So for example, I'm going to run over here a little bit and okay, now let's say that I want to take a photo like this, right? And your photos can have pragmatic meaning that, let's say in this photo, the objective was to show the lawn in front of the building. So you need to meet a pragmatic objective for your photo, meaning that don't just take a photo because it looked nice, but it also needs to communicate something about your design. But then there's the flip side to that. It's not only about communicating something about your design. Every shot that you show must be cinematic. Like this is one of the lessons that you're learning here, right? So it's not either or, it's and, right? So if my objective was to show this open lawn in front of the building and maybe there are kids playing, maybe there's something I want to communicate with that, then that's fine. Have the lawn in, but then now start to think of your rule of thirds, your lens that you're using, the angle of your sun, and all of these things that contribute to the cinematic experience of the shot, whilst keeping the objective of the lawn relevant, right? So, okay. So let's say that was my objective there. Now, the next thing I want to do is, let's remember we're setting up our shots first. So we're going to go over to the to this side of Lumion, right, which deals with the production, right? Now, these are a few icons that we have here. Right now we're in the build menu, and the build menu is what enables all of these building tools on this side. Now these other four over here will determine how your building how your production is exported. So we're going to go over to photo, which is this one here, and we're going to start setting up our first photo. Now, even though the objective is images, remember I tell you a tip. What you do is set up images first and then try and generate a moving image that looks similar to the image you set up. All right, so let's say this is my first image. Now, the first thing I want to probably do is to change that focal length. Does anybody remember what is the focal length that is in your eyeball? What is the human default focal length that we're all born with?
20 meters, I think. 20 something.
And your answer is Incorrect. Try again. Anybody remember? Now, a funny thing, if you don't remember, you could ask yourself, look at this shot that you're looking at here. Does this look like a shot? I should maximize this. Hold on. Right. But I can't edit it when I maximize. Yeah. Okay. All right. Look at this shot here. Does this shot look like a shot that it would look like if you were standing up at this point looking at this building? Or does this look like a shot like what it would look like? Which one of those? I don't know if you saw the one I had before.
Sorry,
The second one.
Exactly. So right away, you know that for something subconsciously to be related as realistic, like usually, or this is what our eyeballs would seem like. So the lower you go in focal length is the more skewed your image, and you're going further away from reality. So the more your image would look like a rendering or an animation or whatever. The higher up you go in your focal length, so for example, let's go all the way up, the more realistic it will, beyond a certain point, but the more realistic it would look like. Now, the higher up you go is the more telephoto you're getting, meaning objects appear closer. And the lower you go is the more wide angle. So a wide angle would be something like that. Now, you use these depending on the mood, what you want to achieve, right? If your objective is realism, then what will contribute to realism is closer to telephoto, closer to what your eyeballs see. But of course, you're going to see less, which means you have to walk back more, right? So if I wanted this to look a bit more real, right? So real is, the answer to that question is 35, right? Some people say 35 to 50, anywhere in that region, right? So 35 to 50 is what the human eyeball sees, right? Anything less than that looks like worm's eye. So if I wanted to go closer to that, just to bring a bit more realism, I would have to step back a bit more to see more of the image, right? Now, a couple of things I'm trying to do in this shot, like yes, I know that the lawn is important because that's what I'm communicating in this particular shot. But then look at this bus stop or subway entrance right here. That's a nice foreground element that could form a conversation for this image as well. Maybe it's talking about, how people access the site and all that stuff. And then look at these buildings in the background. So that's a nice background that frames the image. So when I'm looking around, I'm looking for things that will help to give my image depth. So this bus stop is one. Look at this car right here. That's another one. And then look at the stop sign right here. Now, in some cases, you might not have that. In some cases, you have to create your own foreground, background thing. So you might put put an entourage in the foreground. In our last project, we did put some rocks and a tree and, So in this case, we have some stuff already. So for example, maybe we could take a shot like that. We kind of have something happening in the foreground a little bit. Maybe it's blocking the building a little bit. So maybe something like that. Now, a couple other things. Now, notice that in this shot, the building is being chopped off here. Now, remember that question I asked a while back about if a lean image ever bothers anybody on a wall? Anybody ever bothered by that? You seen a...
Yes, sir.
Right. If you're going to lean it. Don't attempt to make it straight and fail. So for example, if you're going to cut off the building, then cut it off. Do something like that so that it's intentional. But when you do something like that, it goes to show that you're not really paying attention at this, rules of composition, because The little edge of this building here is cut off, and then it's almost cut off here. That's just, unprofessional and sloppy, right? So
Yeah, sometimes it's not that, it's just the focus that you're bringing the viewer's attention to.
that is
So
true.
if the focus was the stairs, then you're not gonna need all the building.
You know
But
what?
if you
That
want
is
to show
a
the
good
building,
point.
you probably cut off more of the stairs,
That is a good point. However, I would try as much as possible. I mean, I would love to say that there is no wrong thing you can do, because it's art. So, if that's the objective, that's the objective. But at the same time, there is a weirdness to it. It's like, yes, you're focusing on
Or you can use like motion, like blur, kind of
right,
blur it.
but it still looks a little weird because
Oh
the
yeah,
bit
like that. Yeah.
almost there. It's like, it's like when an image is slightly lean, it's almost like it's more blatant than if it was just actually lean.
Yeah.
So even if the objective was not to get the building in the full frame here, I would argue that, all right, then just, it don't take nothing to just kind of, fix it properly or just cut it off altogether. I would rather do something like that. You know what I mean? So the building is cut fine, but it's intentionally cut. And then the focus is this driveway element here. Okay, so back to the plan. The plan was that we wanted the lawn to be the focus. I wanted to arrange this wherever foreground and background. So I think that right about here would be a good point. This car is blocking me, and this is where Lumion lose another point again, because if this car was blocking me, I wish I could just like click it and turn it off or delete it, but I can't. I would have to carry the FBX into Max or SketchUp or something, delete it, and then update the model, which is super annoying. So yeah, I'm using the opportunity to compare the two, like how we just saw these two. All right, so this is a shot that I'm taking here, and I'm going to just click this little thing here to store image, and that's my first shot there. And where are the settings again now? All right, in Lumion now, you apply all your effects here. There's something that I'm not remembering, but anyway, we're really talking about camera angles, so let's not worry about the effects yet. All right, so for our second shot, let's find another interesting shot here. Look at this. So this element here provides some beautiful opportunity. Remember, we spoke about rhythm and repetition. So, if we wanted to kind of highlight this element here, we could do a shot something like this. Or maybe we can even do one from inside here. Maybe we can carry down the focal length just a little bit. I'm kind of playing this a little by ear. Maybe I'm talking about how you exit the tunnel here and it leads to the building. Something like that. I'm not sure. Just kind of, let me see. Yeah, maybe I'm talking about how you can see the building when you emerge from the tunnel. I don't know. But I'm gonna save this one as well. All right, let's try another one. Now remember, the objective of this assignment is not images, but as I say, always try to start your camera and start from actual photographs. Because, when you're taking a photograph, it's like, how you put it? Because things are steady, it's easy to process the fact if this is a good view or not. When things are moving, it's a bit hard to do that while the camera is moving. So like you can decide in your mind that this elevation shot, I love it. It looks great. It's in the center. It has a little foreground element there. And this view looks great. Take a picture. Now, the next step of this now is to animate this now. So essentially you're taking a shot that already works and you're just making it move. And you will find that if you use that approach, your image, your videos tend to look a bit nicer and they are very pointed. So for example, the days of walking through a building is done. You know, like you walk into the bedroom, then you walk into the bathroom and what? No. I mean, think about a studio presentation. You know, they're not going to sit down for you to walk through the whole building, right? Just like how you would take particular photographs of particular areas to highlight a point of your design. So, you know, you're talking about the lawn, you're talking about entry, you're talking about the site. Do the same for video, right? Take a video of the entry, a video of the site, a video of showing the lawn, but start from a photo. And can I tell you another secret? When you have these photos here, so look at this photo, for example. Let's say that I choose to render this photo and pin up on my sheet. In your case, maybe you're presenting in a presentation. When you see the photo and the video similar to the photo, it's easy for the viewer to like make that connection. You know what I mean? All right, let's take the photo now, the video. So let's go over to movie and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to give Twinmotion another point here. You know why? Oh, no. All right. No. It's balanced. All right. Because they allow me to start from the photo. So that's good. That's good. So they're still neck and neck. Anyway, all right. So this was the photo that I took. Now I can decide if I want this to be a push in, a pull out, a rise up, rise down, pan left, or whatever. And you can just determine what works best. So maybe I will take this as my first frame, and then maybe I will kind of push in and look up and kind of go down a little bit like that. Like that. Take my second shot like that. So if I take a look on this, this does something like this, and that's my push in. Maybe it's a bit short though. Maybe I should make it a bit longer. So let's make it a little bit more dynamic. Let's zoom up a little more. Maybe you see, notice that my building is dropping out of the frame. So this is another one of those examples. Don't try and do this. Like I would rather do this so that this part of my building is fully in frame rather than trying to squeeze everything and it not working. So, you know, maybe I'll do something like that. Update that. All right, so this now does something like, yeah, that's not too bad. All right, great. So this is one camera view. All right, let's go to my, let me go back to camera here. Let me choose back this shot now. And let me go back to video. And let me click record. Oh, okay. So Lumion does lose a mark here because I was hoping that the video would have started me from the camera. But it doesn't. Oh, it does. Okay, good. Okay, so look at this photo that we took now. So I'm going to take this as my first frame, and then this will be this could be a parallax, or it could be a push in, another push in, or maybe it's more of a parallax. So I'm kind of going around like this. Maybe I have to take 3 for this. So I'm gonna take 1 here, and then kind of come around like maybe like that. All right, let's see what that looks like. I wonder what you'd call that. Is that a push in, or it's a push in and parallax combined in one, right? What do you guys think?
Yes, sir. Agreed.
All right. So what happens is that the shots that you take, it becomes less about, give me a Sir asks for a parallax, I give him a parallax. Sir asks for a pushing, so I give him a pushing. But it becomes more of a, this shot looks really great, and I think a pushing would work best with this shot. That is how you should really approach the cinematography. Not because Sir asks you for a pushing and all that, and so forth. So anyway, so that is that second shot there. Okay, let's get the last one done now. So I'm going to go back to my pictures and I'm going to now go back to my video and hopefully, no, I have to go to a blank slot first. Go to pictures, and go back to video, and it should start from there. Okay, good. All right, so now you don't have to start with where your picture started from. You could do it the other way. So for example, this could be a tilt down, maybe. It could be a tilt down that looks kind of like that. Could be. It could be a parallax that kind of goes around like that. And it ends there. It could be a push in that goes like that, but we already have a push in and a parallax already. What was the other shots that we said? Let's take a look at our handout. Let's see. Oh, we have tracking.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what tracking is? This shot would be perfect for tracking. What is tracking?
Track is following the subject, following something. Motion.
Ah, good point. Yes, it is. So maybe for this one, what we could do is have a person or car.
Put a subject there, sir.
Right, that's it. I think in this case, maybe a person would be best, because this looks like walkway here. So, hold on, do I remember how to do this? Here we go. Let's just use the walking person. And that way. Oh dear Lord, did I forget how to? That's good enough. And
Not in the road, sir. Put him walking through that pathway. Yeah, right behind you.
maybe on the right a little bit here. All right, so let's move him over a little bit more. Like this. And let's have him go more in that direction there. Slightly in that way. So it kind of looks like maybe he's coming from that pathway there. All right. Yeah, that's good enough.
I would say more like inside walking out, because you also capture the building.
Well, remember this shot that I need. Oh, you're right. Let me see. I think this shot, let me see what this shot looks like. Yeah, maybe this is too much a wide lens, and I would go a little bit. I would have kind of tracked him coming like this. This focal length is a little bit too long. I'm going to kind of carry it in a little bit like that, and then kind of have him track, have him walk past or track like that. So that would be nice. But the thing about tracking is that you're really following a particular subject. So that's why I was thinking, if he's coming out like that, then Actually, this can work. We can actually track him while he walks and then have him walk out of the screen or something to that nature. All right, but the idea is to have a something. All right. Now, I totally forgot. Is he already walking? Meaning in the animation? I'm mixing this up with twin motion where you have to have a path. Do you know? Do you have to have a path in Lumion? Where's my Lumion experts? Guys?
Yes, sir, I think so.
This is the trick when you use so much programs. A lot of times I kind of get the where is my thing in here? Right. I kind of get the thingy confused of how you achieve it in different programs. All right. Now, the thing about it, and in Unreal, you don't really choose where the path is. They're kind of already on a path, and they just go in the direction that you're supposed to go in.
So I think you choose the part in FX.
In where?
In the FX. Go in videos and see something.
In the effects? Oh,
Yeah.
right.
And you go to FX. And you're supposed to go to, is either animation or movements. One of them you'll see like,
Right.
yeah,
Where,
like one of those things. I think it's that.
but why would they call it time warp though? Anyway. From what I know, you're supposed to set the radius of where they would walk and the direction. You sure isn't time warp mainly for like when you want to kind of slow it down a bit?
I'll tell you this now. Let me check it.
Right. It's because it's probably effects, but it is perhaps another one, maybe not time warp. Okay, hold on. Not for duh, that's why it won't come up because I'm in photo. Okay, let's go. Okay, all right, let's create this animation first. But you're right, it's in effects, but it's just that it wasn't coming up because I was in a photo. So what we're going to do is let's try to use a different lens. And what we'll do with this tracking, so we'll do a tracking parallax in this one. So the parallax will give a nice view of the environment along with the building while tracking a person walking. So let's see if we can achieve that. So this is a bit weird though, because I would rather this guy walk first and then I track him. But I think I have to
Right, that's what I was expecting.
I have to actually build the video before I make him track. Lumion. Anyway, all right, so let's go with that. And the idea is that we want to kind of swirl around like that. And we do want to keep him in track. I'm not sure where he'll be. He'll probably be somewhere about right here. All right, let's see now. All right, so now I have access to the effects and now I can move him finally. So which feels a bit weird to me, but anyway, this is just how Lumion does its thing. I need to enable move first, looks like. There we go. All right, so this person, I want to walk this way. He doesn't have to walk very far. Let's another one. Yes, okay, good. No, but what? Can't I add another number path? Let's go back here. Okay, wait. Let me see. Is he going that way now? Okay. Let's go back to move. All right. No, and right. No. God. I think it's based on, let's see now. Where are the Lumion experts, guys? Let's go again here. Let's go, oops. Let's go again. So what we want to do is, hang on. It's where? Let me try the advanced move. Let's see. Maybe
Yes, sir.
I get a bit more.
Hello?
Yeah, it's the advanced move. Aren't I supposed to get a
Hello?
set? Yes.
Yeah, so to do the moving stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you have to go back.
Okay. Let's go back. Which one do you normally use? The advanced move or the simple move? Wouldn't it be the advanced move?
The simple move.
Okay. All right. I mean, I think I could get away with just one aspect because we really just need something like this just to go across the camera and it should be fine. Let's see if that works. All right. All right. And all right. So now I would need to adjust my camera. To match this movement now. There we go. All right. So I track this person walking like this. And we're going to update that and go to the next one. And then we're going to kind of a bit more. a little bit. Update that. And for the final one now, where is he? Oh, it's a bit far. All right. We're going to end the clip kind of doing a little bit of a rise up here to focus on the bit. All right, let's see how that works out. Not as accurate as I would want it to be, but it's a little bit there. Can you guys see the tracking? So that's the subject in the foreground, and then it kind of switches over to the building, and then kind of ends focusing on the building. All right. Now, the other thing that I always notice about Lumion is that Lumion, what it gives you in the viewport is a little bit lower quality than what you get when you render. It's almost like it put on makeup, you know, when it's rendered. Whereas with Twinmotion, it looks a little bit, what you see in the viewport is closer to the final render. Not that any of them necessarily look better. They kind of trade blows, so that's fine. All right, so now we have the three camera views. So we have a push in for that one. And then we have a kind of push in and parallax. And then we have a tracking. Now, yeah, the tracking might be a little tricky when you're doing it, guys, because of the timing and the way that Lumion lets you do an animation. It's a little weird because you had to like make the person walk first. And, you know, but I'm just going to leave it because, you know, time is going. All right. Now, once we have those done, remember that the objective are the clips, not necessarily the photos. The only reason that we took these photos is just so that we can orient ourselves to decide what angles would be best for our video. All right, so now we're going to render these out. What I would do, I normally just apply the realistic, I guess the realistic daytime dawn in the daytime. Okay. Let's just do the same for all of these. All right, and then we can render. All right, now I'm gonna hit the, well, before you render, always save. So I'm gonna save this. Save it as demo. Alrighty. All right, let's go back here and I'm going to save it small because I don't really have much time left. So I'm going to save it here and call this assignment demo. And all right, so while that gets done, so now the next step now would be to add the sound effects in whatever program you're going to use. Now, last time we used DaVinci. Is there anybody here that's using DaVinci?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What other programs are we using? Anybody else plan to use any other programs to edit?
Sir, I use VSDC video editor because DaVinci just kept crashing on me.
Oh man,
But I usually use that program when I'm making stuff, so it's okay.
What, DaVinci or VSDC?
VSDC.
Oh, that's interesting. Check out that one. Let's see. VSCD.
DC.
Okay, VSDC. Okay, so it's a free video editor. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let me see what the user interface looks like. Green screen. Okay, cool. Nice. Nice. Okay. Okay. There is also Hit Film Express. So that's another cool one that you can use. I don't think I have it installed. Hit Film. That's also another free one. Maybe not as popular as DaVinci or Premiere. Anybody here using Premiere? Premiere Pro? No, nobody? Okay. So what else are we using? Or the rest of persons don't make up their mind yet?
Sir, Premiere Pro crash computer, so I've been using DaVinci as well.
All right, so let's say that we're going to use DaVinci. Now, with DaVinci, we did do that example already. If you look back on the class site, do I have it in another window? Yes. Let's go back here. Right, we did actually. Right. Did we? Did we use? Yes, we did use DaVinci to do the video edits. So we're not going to go back through DaVinci. Maybe what else? Well, nobody's really using Premiere in this group. So I think what I was trying to do with this class is to kind of go through maybe alternatives. Now, I'm not that familiar with what's it called? VCDC? There we go. I'm wondering if, who said I use it again?
Maya.
Right. Maya, you have it installed?
Yeah, but I'm not using my laptop right now.
Okay. All right. Okay, so before I go into that aspect of it, I mean, anybody else anybody using After Effects? Nope. No After Effects? All right, cool. All right, so it sounds like most people are going to maybe be using DaVinci. Some people look like they don't know what they'll be using yet, but you just need to find something to use. All right, so essentially what you're going to do is when you're done with the videos, all right, it's on the second one now, then you're going to drop it in your video editor and pretty much do the same thing that we did before. Now, I am expecting some more creative kind of shots with this assignment, primarily because when we did the physical camera, we were really limited by what we could do with using an actual camera. So let's just say I'm going to have a keener eye for the type of cinematic movements that you guys will give me, right? AKA, it will be marked harder, right? Which makes sense because you have more freedom, right? You in a 3D scene, you can move the thing anywhere you want to move it. Okay. All right. Now, in wrapping up though, what I would say, comparing the Lumion to the Twinmotion, the one area in which Twinmotion maybe gets the edge a little bit, well, I would say in a major way, is that Lumion is the is the end of the production cycle. When you're using it to produce images or animation. So for example, maybe you have a design, maybe you design something, you created it in a BIM program, maybe ArchiCAD or Revit, and then you carried it into Lumion to render it, and that is where it ends. It ends at Lumion. Now, the great thing about Twinmotion is that it doesn't have to end at Twinmotion. You can come out of Twinmotion and go into something else, but you don't go out of Lumion into something else. Really and truly, that doesn't really matter for an architectural firm, because usually a firm wouldn't go more deeper than a Lumion or a Twinmotion, right? So, you know, you wouldn't want to like have special effects and, I don't know, earthquake and explosions and whatever. So an architectural firm wouldn't be worrying about trying to go beyond, you know, Lumion or whatever. But I want to show you guys this here. Where is it? Here we go. And I actually think I showed you some of this at some point in the past. Right. I remember I was showing you this is more marketing content of architecture, right? Anybody knows this building? Anybody knows this area? Then pause it there. Anybody recognize that building in the background there?
Yes, sir. That's the NCB Towers, and this is on Oxford.
Side, ATL.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So this one. These are some nice renders and stuff. Now the thing is that maybe the architectural firm would have pretty much everybody here can produce images, but when the client gets to work, they need to carry the work a bit further, right? They need to market it and all of those stuff. And many times, at least in my experiment, oops, no, that's not the video. It's this, right? And many times, architects have to work along with marketing companies. So this is another one for Terra Nova. And they have to work with marketing companies to promote the architecture that they are building. So, but why this anyway? But my resolution is small, so this thing is hiding all of my screen. Let me carry it up a bit. Right. Okay. Right. So, for example, to produce things like these, yes, you wouldn't do it in an architectural firm. However, if the initial work was done in Lumion, then that data isn't able to go further with another entity. So for example, we could take the work from Twinmotion and carry it into, I don't know, Unreal or Max or some other program that gives more flexibility to do other little things that a firm wouldn't need to worry about, like, you know, the type of trees that are represented here, or maybe this design that is on this wall here, which had to be very specific. You know, for an architectural firm, they wouldn't really necessarily go into that level of visual production, but to be able to use the content that was generated in the firm and build up on it, that is where Twinmotion will hold a candle against Lumion, because you can take the work from Twinmotion and develop it further in other applications. Whereas with Lumion, no, you're pretty much stuck. That's the end of the road. If you want to develop it further, then you would have to now go back into, Revit or all of these programs. And chances are you've already had like people and cars and you've already decked out the whole thing in Lumion. So to go back to the scene before you made all of those changes will be kind of, So, that's the one area that I would say that Twinmotion holds over Lumion is the ability to further take it out of Twinmotion and carry it to a higher level of development if you so choose, right? And the truth is that most firms are not going beyond what Twinmotion or Lumion can produce. So it's not a big deal. But what do you guys think? You have seen a demonstration using Lumion or Twinmotion. What do you guys think? Which one does it for you? Guys? Anybody there? Nope.
Yes, sir, right here.
Okay, I was asking, what do you guys think between Lumion or Twinmotion? Now that you've seen a demonstration of both.
Sir, to be honest, I prefer Twinmotion,
All right. And why is that?
One is the user interface. The quality of the renders are really good. Too. So just for the user interface and the quality that I'm getting, I would say Twinmotion. I mean, Lumion has some great shots, but I think Twinmotion is better than Lumion in that regard.
Okay. All right. Okay, so these are what we produced today. So these are the 3 camera angles rendered now. So this is the tracking. So that is the tracking. This is the push in. It's a bit fast though. I thought it would have been a little slower. And this is the push in and parallax. Notice,
sure, and also the thing with Twinmotion that I realized that exporting videos, even for those fast shots, you can actually slow them down to like 30 seconds if you want it to be a bit slower. So like I say, it's just the user interface for me with Twinmotion and the quality also.
Okay. All right. Well, both of them are pretty similar. Twinmotion at Lumion was first, so they kind of got the first one out of the gate. But Lumion is more expensive, Twinmotion is cheaper. So there are pros and cons. Anyway, so pretty much that is it for today's class. So we've kind of looked on the procedure for those of you who are using Twinmotion, what you would do. So now you kind of have a class that does this procedure in Twinmotion and one in Lumion. So I'm hoping you guys use these tips to finish your assignment 4. And I'm looking forward to some awesome clips. Right? Remember, your clips need to have the music and the labels. Just tell me what shot exactly this is, and you can combine multiple camera angles together. It doesn't have to solely be a push in. All right, you can combine them together. All right.
Sir,
okay.
Wait, sir. I uploaded the first assignment from like long time, but I'm not seeing a grade, and I'm not the only one. But I can't remember everyone else who's having the same issue.
Oh. That's no problem. If you're not seeing it, that means that I haven't gone back to market yet. So,
Okay.
Right. So look out for that.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Sir, just a reminder to upload this video and the one
And the
prior
one
to
with twin
one.
motion. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, guys. So I will see you again on Monday. And on Monday, we move into our final topic, which is going to be storyboarding. Right. And that would lead us. Remember, we're choosing groups next week. So everybody needs to be present for the Monday class where we're going to choose groups. Now, remember that ideally, this assignment is supposed to allow you to prove to yourself whether or not you want to be pre-production, production, or post-production. All right. Because actually working on this assignment will let you do something in all three roles. Pre-production, planning your shots. Production, executing it. And post-production, adding the polishing touches to the shots, arranging the shots together and add music and that kind of stuff. So after doing this assignment, you can know within yourself where your strengths lie. All right. And then next week now, we're going to choose what role you want to play, and that will be tied into your final project. Alrighty. Enough talking for me. I'll see you next week. All right. Take care. Stay safe.
All right, so take care.